Okay, welcome into another episode of 3R. I was just going to run through some music news and make this a short news video. However, the news is pretty non-existent right now. But I did find some interesting shit. This I have not read yet. I'm going to read this along with you. It says, Ace Frehley doesn't get the Kiss avatar thing. It looks like it's geared towards children. Let's see what this is all about. Okay, interview with Germany's Rock Antenny. Asked if he's happy the band's farewell tour end of the road is finally over. He responded, I'm happy it's over because I'm not going to be compared to them anymore. The only person comparing them to you is you. But I don't get this avatar thing they're going to do, which means he's been watching. So he continued referencing Kiss's announcement that the band members will carry on as digital versions of themselves. He said, I saw some of it on video on YouTube last night. It kind of looked like it was geared towards children, and it's not rock and roll. I get up on stage without backing tracks, and we'll get to the reason he probably should. Plug in my amp, plug in my guitar into a Marshall and go, that's it. It's always been that way and always will be. Asked if he actually watched the Kiss show online. He said, I watched YouTube video of the show in Indianapolis, and I'm not impressed. But that's me. Tommy Thayer is not a bad guitarist. He just is more mechanical than me, meaning he's better. Nobody can copy my solos the way I play them because I'm sloppy, and nobody can move like me. Well, find me another walk of life or area in life where being sloppy is a positive thing. Nobody. And I'm surprised the fans bought Tommy pretty much because I think for several years that Tommy was in the band, people didn't even know it wasn't me. I used to get phone calls from people saying, hey, Kiss is playing in town. Can you get me tickets? I go, I'm not in the band anymore. They go, you're not? Because when I quit the band the second time, they did not make a big press release. And why should they? You're a quitter. It's nothing new. They kind of buried it and just made the transition. But the last tour I did with Kiss, Tommy was bringing me sandwiches, and his tour manager and was a tour manager and a golfer. He may have been bringing you a sandwich and whatever else. I would be curious to compare bank accounts between Tommy and Ace right now. Just saying. But he's not a bad guitar player. I'm actually friends with Tommy. Never mind that he sucker punched him. Just all the guys in the band. I'm good friends with Kiss drummer Eric Singer. Me and Gene are very close. When Gene put out his Vault experience, I went on the road with him. I went to Australia with him. Before we made it really big, me and Gene used to room together, so Gene has a soft spot in his heart for me. The technology being used for Kiss Avatar, originally delivered by ABBA's Voyage. Yeah, who cares? We all know that. Okay, so basically, again, and to his credit this time, he was asked. But clearly he's the one who thinks he's got to prove something, right? I don't like making these videos because it sucks having to talk bad about someone who meant a lot to me and to the band and millions of fans, from the beginning. But he's going off the tracks. And here's what I mean okay, let's get to it. So, here we go. Eddie, fuck, I hate that man, had a 40th anniversary party. And Ace Frehley played a set. And let's see. Here we go. Now, for someone who's so proud of his newer accomplishments, You can't help but notice that the majority of his shows are Kiss tunes. Whether he wrote them or not is beside the point. If you're trying to move on, maybe a couple, but shouldn't you be promoting your new stuff that you're so proud of? I guess that's just me. I mean, he's got a new 10,000 volts video out. And here his 3-song set consisted of Rip It Out, Parasite, and Cold Gin. If you're still hanging on to 2 songs, Parasite and Cold Gin, that you wrote in the early 70s, instead of promoting anything else, what about your Frehley's Comet stuff? Right? I mean, what about all your stuff off Space Invader and all this other stuff? But anyway, so there's a lot of people here at this thing for Eddie Trunk, but I want you to really pay attention to what I read from his quotes, where he doesn't use backtracks and he's sloppy and no one can copy it. And I'm gonna let this roll at least for the first half of the first song, and I'll interrupt it when I want to bring things up here.
This is off my first solo record. It's called Rip It Out. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so right there, not using backing tracks. One, you'll hear that his voice isn't what it used to be, and that's saying a lot because the way he sings is not difficult. But time and time again here, he's given the simple task of singing the first word to the sentence, sometimes the first 2 or 3 words, and he just skips them. Whether he forgets it or not, he just comes in mid, verse. Let's keep going. Before I get more into the music aspect of this, imagine if Ace Frehley was as a solo artist on the same level as Kiss, meaning he plays 1.5-hour sets for 20 or 30,000 people. Can you imagine how boring that show would be? I mean, I understand he's not a front man by trade, but I mean, watch Nuno Betancourt. Watch some of these guitarists. They actually have a charisma on stage. They have a presence to them, something that makes you just get behind it and go nuts, right? Between him and the stiffs he chose for his band, it might as well be a country concert. Anyway. Okay, so far I'm seeing less charisma, less technical ability, less tight, well rehearsed music than I'd see at a bar, just a local band. And again, he states by watching the End of the Road tour, he's not impressed. I wonder if he's impressed with his performance. Now, we're going to get to why Paul had a problem with Ace's playing, documented, and why I have a problem with Ace's playing, and why comments like, nobody can do my stuff because I'm sloppy. If I'm at a concert and I hear a solo like this coming up here, I'm immediately on the edge of my seat trying to make the decision if I'm just going to leave, if the next band is worth staying around for. This is unacceptable, and this is what Ace has always been like. Sure, there are some live shows where he sounds real good on guitar, but more often than not, I hear crap like this. And it's so Bush League, and it's so, to call it sloppy would mean that you're just running around and you're so wild and crazy that you're missing notes and stuff. And this is someone standing like a statue, staring directly at the guitar, and he still can't hit his notes. See what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't make it up. This guy is not impressed with Kiss, is obsessed with the fact that they utilize backtracks for vocals only, and brags about he's sloppy. Is there an Ace fan, and I know there's millions of them, but is there an Ace fan watching my little crappy podcast who can get on this comment section and defend that garbage that you just heard? You can't make it any easier for him if he was sitting down on a chair. He's a statue staring at the guitar, and he missed over half of that solo. So either he's drunk again, on drugs again, or his skills have deteriorated so far that there can be no doubt of why Paul, and I don't know why Gene sugarcoats shit, but at least Paul gives it to you straight. He knew Ace couldn't do it anymore. He knew Peter couldn't do it anymore. And I've seen videos of Peter doing one-offs with other celebrity musicians and shit, and there's usually a second drummer carrying him. This is horrible. And I don't blame Paul or Gene one bit. Say what you want. Say it is a backtrack, okay? Say he's 100% lip syncing to a recorded track, being Paul Stanley, which he's not. At least he's not lip syncing to a studio track or a live one or a live two. It is something he recorded in the studio with modern vocals, and you can tell because he struggles on it. It sounds bad, but with that sounding bad, it's still a good sounding song, and the band sounds solid. This is garbage. I mean, this is absolute garbage. So Paul has an excuse for his inabilities, right? He's 70 plus years old. He had to have throat surgery. He spent 50 years screaming and singing some of the most unreachable shit in rock and metal. And he's finally, it's all come to a head, right? Age, surgery, and the abuse of his vocals from the stuff he did vocally for decades. What's Ace's excuse? How hard is it to stand and play a solo you fucking wrote and that you play over and over and over again because no matter how many Ace Frehley shows you do, you got to do Kiss songs. And I don't care if he wrote them. It was on a Kiss record. It is known as a Kiss song. Not this one in particular, but Parasite and Cold Gin. But this one, too, he wrote, he recorded. It's his stuff. He's not trying to learn somebody else's stuff. It's not something that he never plays and he just pulled out of a deep cuts, for the fans. And he still can't get it right. He still can't hit it. Now, I would normally let this go. But with him constantly running his mouth and downplaying the band's accomplishments, what they're continuing to do or what they just completed doing, and replacement players like Tommy, if you're going to come out and run your goddamn mouth in some delusional fucking alternate dimension that you live in, someone's got to call you out on it. And I may only be calling it out to a couple thousand people, but I'm tired of it. Once Ace can come out and do an interview and compliment Kiss and show appreciation for what that band did for him and acknowledge that without that band, he wouldn't be where he is, I'm going to continue to dog on him. I just am, because people like Eddie Trunk give him a fucking free pass. They do nothing but praise him in this garbage performance and diss all over Kiss. And it's just annoying, and I've had enough. I cannot fathom how you can come out and call someone else's performance unimpressive and put this garbage out. I just don't get it. Man, I just really don't. If you want to watch this stuff, it's on YouTube, or you can go to blabbermouth.net. I'm not going to go through all 3 tracks here because I've listened. It's bad. This is by far the worst track. I mean, it looks like he could give 2 shits. Like I said, he comes in, 2-3 words late on the verses. He backs away from the mic when he sings a word so you can barely hear he's singing, and then comes forward. I mean, yeah, sloppy, okay. That is not an appealing trait for me for a professional guitar player of over 50 years. It's ridiculous. But like I said, I wasn't going to do this. I don't want to have to trash any Kiss member, but I didn't have any music news. It's all worthless music news. Couple of things. Skid Row had to cancel a few shows coming up because multiple members have the flu and or COVID. Other than that, there really wasn't much to talk about in the ways of what would be classic rock or hair metal. Ozzy made some comment about how he never liked being tagged metal. And they all seem to pretty much say that except for speed metal people. But, yeah, nothing major to talk about. And again, don't get me wrong, and I'll hear it in the comments, and that's fine. But I love Ace. I do. But when you play like this and sing like this, glass houses, man. Stop throwing your stones at Paul Stanley and Kiss and just move on. I mean, you saw the comments himself. He's glad Kiss is done because no one will be comparing them to him. Nobody does that. Who the hell does that? He does that. Ace Frehley fans do that. Ace Frehley fans are the ones who jump on message boards, like I will, I'm sure, see, and trash Kiss and make fun of Kiss and their performances and Paul's voice. I have never went to an Ace Frehley comment board on an Ace Frehley YouTube video and had Kiss trolls come in and dog on Ace Frehley because we love Ace Frehley. That's the difference between Kiss fans and Ace Frehley fans. Kiss is all for Kiss. Even Vinny, they'll put up with his shit because they enjoyed what he did for the band. It's just pathetic. And like I said, glass houses. If this is you now, you need to just put that stone down, walk away, and move on. And hopefully he will wake up eventually. I can only assume he's surrounded by a bunch of poisonous people in his life, because it's like your parents that I'd like to slap, right? That you'll run into some kid, whether he's 5, 15, or 25, chewing with his fucking mouth open so you can hear the sloshing around and the food you could see moving around in his mouth. At what point can you be mad at him versus everybody in his life that has not got the nutsack to say, dude, close your fucking mouth when you chew? Is nobody smart enough or logical enough in Ace Frehley's circle to say, dude, shut up. Look what Kiss is doing. Look what you're doing. I mean, someone needs to steer him in the right direction here. Being surrounded by a bunch of yes men when you're already a bitter man is not a good fucking thing. It really isn't. But anyway, I thank you all, and I'll be putting some more content out shortly, I am sure. Me and Darren on the Gen X Jukebox, we have 1984 to get to, and then we might do a video on Kiss for that channel. And then, yeah, we'll see what goes on from there. So, thanks for watching.